بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Interpretation of the Holy Quran.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. With the help of Allah, we began a brief commentary of Quran. We got to chapter Nisa, the fourth chapter of Quran, which is revealed in Medina. It has 176 verses. Please listen to verse 128.
وإن امرأة خافت من بعلها نشوزا أو إعراضا فلا جناح عليهما أن يصلحا بينهما صلحا والصلح خير وأحضرت الأنفس الشح وإن تحسنوا وتتقوا فإن الله كان بما تعملون خبيرا.
And if a woman fears ill usage or desertion on the part of her husband, there is no blame on them if they effect a reconciliation between them. وَالصُّلْحُ خَيْرٌ وَأُحْضِرَتِ الْأَنفُسُ الشُّحَّ وَإِن تُحْسِنُوا وَتَتَّقُوا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرًا. And reconciliation is better, and a verse has been made to be present in the people's minds. And if you do good and guard against evil, then surely Allah is aware of what you do. We talked about this verse in two previous sections. Allah is telling the women that when you fear that your husbands will not fulfill their responsibility, there is no blame on you if you try to have reconciliation, to agree with them, and to ignore some of your rights. Although it is possible that they will get divorced and the husband will divorce them, but as Allah wants to say that this is much better comparing to divorce. وَالصُّلْحُ خَيْرٌ, and reconciliation is much better. The agreement is much better. It means each one, husband and wife, will leave and ignore some of their rights and get along with each other. As Allah wants to say that don't forget, the divorce has a lot of problems, especially when you have children. As long as you will be alive, you remember because you have children. And the children are going to suffer between husband and wife. When the husband and wife are fighting with each other, children either are with the father or mother, but in both situations they suffer because still they love both of them and they want both of them to be together. There are a few messages that we can get from this verse. We talked about some and I'm going to continue the rest. Allah says, if you fear some problems between yourself, فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَا أَن يُصْلِحَا, there is no blame on them, it means husband and wife, if they effect a reconciliation between them. There is no blame in husband and wife to sit together and solve their problem. Allah wants to say that the first step for the husband and wife when they have problem with each other, they should talk to each other. They should try their best. This is the first step. This is wrong if the husband or wife immediately they go to each other's parents and talk to them. Especially for the women. They should understand that when they talk to their parents regarding to the problem, most of the time they take side because it is their daughter, and especially their mother. Their mother have a feeling. They love their daughter and they take side, and many time, most of the time, they make problem. If it is between themselves and they keep the secrets, the problem as a secret, they can solve their problem easier. So Allah says the first step, it is good that both of them try to solve it. Brothers, sisters, if the husband and wife give time to each other, sometimes many problems happen because they will not talk to each other. Either husband or wife will keep the problem inside their hearts, or he wants to talk to the other, but the other person has no time. Especially the life that the husband and wife are too busy. The husband leaves home early morning and comes in the time that wife is leaving home. They don't see each other. Both have problem, but they have no time to talk to each other, and this is one of the major problem. So first Allah says talk to each other. Then when Allah says فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَا أَن يُصْلِحَا, there is no blame on both of them to effect a reconciliation. Allah wants to say that when He says that there are some rights for a wife or husband, it doesn't mean they cannot forgive. Yes, they can forgive their rights. And when it comes to divorce and the problems become serious, it is better to ignore some of your rights. Leave it and tell your husband that I don't want it, that's okay. So if you forgive and keep the life and family, it is much better comparing to have divorce and will not be ready to have reconciliation. When Allah says وَالصُّلْحُ خَيْرٌ, the reconciliation is better, it means comparing to divorce. Of course, to forgive is much better, because one time a person will ignore his rights, but will keep something more important. Here, a wife will ignore her rights, but will keep the family as family, keep the children as the children for both husband and wife. Although it is allowed to get divorced or to divorce, but we should understand that there is a narration tradition which says, Allah said in Hadith al-Qudsi from God, that God says, أَبْغَضُ الْأَشْيَاءِ إِنْدِي الطَّلَاقِ. Something that Allah says, I hate it a lot and more than anything else, but it is allowed, is divorce. Abghaz is from Bughz. It means something that Allah says, I hate it more than anything else. But it is halal. Divorce is halal. It is allowed. Because if Allah wants to order people to be together by force, the situation sometimes is much worse. So it is allowed to get divorced, but this is something that makes Allah so angry. وَأُحْضِرَتِ الْأَنفُسُ الشُّحَّ, and a verse has been made to be present in the people's mind. Allah wants to say sometimes people are not ready to get along to each other. As some people are very stingy, are not ready to give money. Some people have shuh. It means they are very greedy regarding to forgiveness. They are not ready to forgive. Allah is warning us that the reconciliation will not be achieved all the time by money. Sometimes by money and stingy and giving to the others and having open hand, sometimes you achieve the reconciliation. But sometimes by being open and forgiveness, spiritually, you will be open and forgive the others, you will achieve a wonderful life. وَإِن تُحْسِنُوا وَتَتَّقُوا, Allah says, but if you do good to others and guard against evil, if you help each other, if you do good to each other, you must understand that by that you are going to have better life. Allah encourage husband and wife to forgive each other and do good to each other. By that way, they can have much better life. The family is not a business. In a business, two partners try to be very serious with each other, to take as much as possible. But the family is completely different. Each one should give more and expect less. If they want to have a good life, they should expect less and give to the others more. It means give the money, give the time, give the rights, and instead of that, buy happiness. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرًا. And Allah says, surely Allah is aware of what you do. Either you are ready to forgive or not, you have a terrible moral, dangerous moral or not, be sure that Allah is watching you. Thank you very much for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.